We're here at the old Q106 site. That building that you're looking at now was the studio for Q106. And this tower is what I am transmitting on. It's extremely high. That is the old WYYC AM tower. Now it's WYYC, and we're here in the building as we go in. My transmitters that I deal with are right here. There's computers that pretty much run everything. We can see all the parameters of the transmitter on this one remotely. And there are a couple of other things that I can pull up remotely to see how the transmitter is working. This is the emergency broadcast system. It's also a few other things that it tells me as well about the health and welfare of the transmitter. And all of this is to monitor the inputs, sound. The internet is the big thing. This is what brings all the audio into the building. There are two. One is connected to Comcast and one is connected to the Verizon unit that gives us broadband through the cell phone service. And an audio sentinel tells us if we're off the air, if we don't have audio. And then there's, this is called an Optimod. It's a broadcast, it inserts the stereo component. If there is one, we are not here on the AM though, but it is an audio compressor, limiter, and processor to keep the audio looking good. And there are three computers that run this whole system. Whether it's the audio, the video, or not video in this case. I'm used to TV too, but it controls everything that there is to do at this transmitter. And the transmitter, believe it or not, is this little guy right here. It's 19 inches wide. The bottom is the power supply, and the transmitter is up on top. They're about a foot high each, and that's what runs it. And we're making a little over 1,000 watts right now, forward power. And the SWR, well, it's not negligible. We're down at we're down at zero. So this is the main unit. Now, if this should fail, we're going to go back in time. These were made by Harris in 1980. And this is what was replaced by that small unit you see. This is all solid state inside of this box, and I don't know if we can see inside, not very well, but there are modules and resistors and everything in there to make it. The transmitter itself is in there. All the audio is processed externally, same way as the other one, but this big unit, about the size of a big refrigerator, takes a whole lot of power to run it compared to the new one. And this was the main AM transmitter until that other one came into being in the mid-90s. I had personally installed several of these units over the years when they were new. Now, unfortunately, the way transistors work, they stopped making them. There's nowhere to get replacement transistors for the Harris MW1A. It's a 1 kilowatt, and that's why it's called an MW1A. And we have a couple of other stations here in this same building. This is all the stuff for, this one is, let me see. What is the radio station? It's this one, 105.7. There's this, this is, what is that, 105.7X, I'm guessing. So, I'm not up with it, but I think that's the X, 105.7. We have a Gates transmitter here that will give them, this is their FM broadcast. These are called Exciter. This is actually the whole transmitter, and then it's amplified like crazy in these bigger ones. Now, I don't know their exact power on Q1, or on the root, the X rather, sorry. Then this is the backup for that. Same everything, all duplicated as a backup for the 105.7. So big deal, digital. Everything's digital now, so they have both. So that's the basic rundown here in this studio. Now, that transmitter of mine, when we're not using it, it's ready to go at any moment. But this box here is a resisted load, and it's dumping into this right now. So when it gets to be tested, that's where it is. Test into that, and then if we want to switch it to make it on the air, this is the size of the coax cable that it takes to feed that to the transmitter's antenna that you saw outside, just out through the window. And there's a big rundown. Here's the back end of one of these. These are the coax cables that work with this transmitter, higher power, bigger cable, and you can see they look like copper pipes. So there's your quick rundown from here at the radio towers. This one is located in York, and that's an ugly mess that I inherited of wires. This is on Druck Valley Road in York.